Heavenly Father, right? And then that destruction is coming, right? The prophecies are coming, right? And it's gonna be hard for these people because they didn't want to listen, right? It says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And that applies to the Israelites. The Israelites that didn't want to come back to the power, the spirit and power of Yahawah Yahawashi. You know, but they were already predestined not to come back, right? Real quick, this was in Romans 9. This is Romans 9 and 9. It says, for this is the word of promise. And that's when we go back up to 8, it says, that is they which are the children of the flesh, right? Not the children of the promise. They're carnal. They don't have that blessing of the spirit, that spiritual covering. They don't have that, right? These are not the children of the Most High, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed, right? Because it all goes back to the seed, right? For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. Because the Most High has power. He already predestined you before you were born. He knew all the events. He knew all the mistakes that you was going to make. He knew the works that you was going to do. He knew who you was going to be with, right? Hey, Yahawah Yahawashi, they already knew that, right? Yahawah already knew that. It's okay. Hey, it's raining. We're still prophesying. It's raining. We're still prophesying. Right? It says, this is Romans 8, just to prove about the predestination. Romans 8 and I'm going to start at 26. It says, likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High. Right? Because, hey, your spirit knows what you need, right? Your spirit knows that you need a wake-up call, right? Your spirit knows that you need to be rebuked, you know, right? But you being in this flesh, you don't know who's speaking, you know. You can tell at some points, you know, but hey, demons are affecting you every day, right? The forces of the world, your flesh, you know, right? Your conditioning from since you was a little baby, you know, when you was a kid, the way you looked at certain holidays like Christmas, you know, Easter, that you Halloween, how you was gonna get stuff, you know, Because they giving you those gifts to mess up your mind. You know? It says, and he that searcheth the hearts knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints. The saints are the Israelites. Right? It says, according to the will of the Most High. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to his purpose. Right? You have to be chosen for this. You can't wake up and say, oh, I'm be an Israelite. Or I'm gonna be a Hebrew Israelite. You know? You can't wake up and do that. Right? You can't wake up with the blessing. You gotta be born with that blessing. You gotta be born with the faith in you. Right? That gift of faith has to be already given to you. Right? It says, for who he did foreknow, he also did predestinate. Because, hey, we didn't know who we were before this. Right? We didn't know if we were Jacob or Abraham, you know, or Job, or didn't know if we were any of these we didn't know if we was Moses. We didn't know if we were Zerubbabel, you know, or Luke or John. We didn't know who we were, right? But the Most High knew who we were, right? The Heavenly Father knew who we were in that past life. He knew who we were before we even before he put us on this into these chains of darkness, right? It says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his son. And how do you be conformed to the image of his son? What was Yahawashi doing? Right? He had the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in his mind. You know, he was the word. Right? He had that understanding of the word. Right? He had the faith. You know? He had the spirituality you need. Right? That we're attracted to, because we are the hopeful elect, right? Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. And we're glorified doing this work, right? What shall we say? What shall we then say to these things? If God be for us, who can be against us? And we can't do anything against that, right? Just because Yahawah Hashem, Yahawashi, hey, the ones that he predestinate, hey, we're happy, you know. We want to be the ones predestinated, you know. We want to be the ones chosen instead of the ones not chosen, right? We want to be the ones that make it, right? And it's no fault to those that were chosen, you know? You can't get mad at the elect because they were chosen, you know? It's just what it is, right? It says, he that spared not his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him also freely give us all things? Right? Who shall lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? It is the Most High that justifies, because he's the one that has control. You can't tell an author what to title his chapters, you know, because that's his power, right? He has the power to change the word, to, you know, change the title, you know, or scrap that whole book and write a different one, right? Let's go back to 2 Thessalonians. It says, verse 9, 2 Thessalonians 2 verse 9, it says, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, right? Which is talking of the spiritual counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, which is talking about the Edomites, right? The wicked according to the Bible. We piece that together because we know the scriptures, right? Us going from precept to precept, we're lining up these